Well, it's definitely a big landmark deal for Glenmark as well as for the Indian pharma industry, where Glenmark has signed an out-licensing deal with global big pharma company AbbVie for one of their molecules under development for multiple myeloma, and they've out-licensed it to AbbVie. It's going to be an upfront payment of $700 million, milestones of $1.2 billion going forward, and even double-digit tiered royalty payments if in case this molecule is successful and does come to market. We have with us Glenn Saldanha, who's really the man of the moment, to talk to us about this big landmark deal which has taken place. Glenn, thank you very much for joining in. Well, if you could just go through the finer points of this big deal which has taken place for IGI, which is your innovation subsidiary.
Thank you, Ekta. So clearly this is a huge moment for us, right? I mean, we've been working on this for 25 years in the innovation space. And I think 2001 really is a world-class asset, right, which can be transformational for patients. From a partnering perspective, the way we've structured it is we've partnered with AbbVie for US, Canada, Europe, China, Japan, most of the developed markets, and Glenmark will commercialize this product eventually, right, in India and all emerging markets. So the two of us will make sure this asset is successful going forward. IGI clearly is a 100% subsidiary of Glenmark and has done a phenomenal job in developing this asset, getting the phase 1 data. As you know, we have phenomenal data in patients in the phase 1 trial, where the recent presentation we made at ASCO, we had almost 79% ORR and almost 30% of the patients had complete remission. And these are patients who've gone through all prior lines of therapy in multiple myeloma and then eventually come on to 2001 have shown this response. So very exciting times. We are super excited about partnering with AbbVie, great partner, huge global capabilities and huge resources to make 2001 successful and bring it to the market.
Okay. So explain the financials to us. $700 million is what you would get upfront, $1.2 billion in terms of milestones, and the remaining would be royalties.
That's correct. So we get a $700 million payment upfront, and as soon as we get regulatory approvals, that money will be received by us. The milestones, the $1.2+ billion of milestones, are spread into clinical development milestones. So as the molecule progresses to clinics, we keep getting milestones. Regulatory milestones, so as the molecule gets filed in various markets, and approved, we get milestones. And then we get sales-linked milestones. So cumulatively, that number comes to $1.25 billion, for the asset. And then once it's commercial, we get royalties on sales, which, as you know, some of these innovative products, the life of the royalties is pretty long. So this could pretty much be an annuity if the molecule makes it to market.
Okay. So let's first understand where exactly this molecule stands. Phase 1B currently. Explain that to us. How nascent is this molecule at this point in time?
So ISB 2001 is still at a relatively early stage. The good news is we have patient data in about 40-50 patients. We have good clinical data that we presented at ASCO. So very good safety profile, good efficacy data. But it's still early stage, so it has to go through a significant amount of clinical development as we go forward.
Okay. So AbbVie is now going to take over the entire development of this molecule, we understand. When do you think that it will probably hit the market or show any kind of results?
So AbbVie takes over all clinical development from here on. In terms of time frame, I can't give you a specific time frame, but typically molecules, if you look at other assets, right, in the space, they typically take about 4 or 5 years at least to get to commercialization.
So say 2030 would be a good target to probably expect something tangible coming in from the molecule or hitting commercial sales if it is successful, that is.
So again, I can't specifically talk about ISB 2001, but typically it's about 4 or 5 years to commercialization.
Okay. Well, let's talk about how you're going to use the funds now. Let's start with $700 million, 6,000 crores of cash on books. It will be on Glenmark's books. Tell us how exactly is, this $700 million going to be utilized?
So the way we're looking at it is IGI will continue development of various other assets that they have. They have a great multi-specific antibody platform technology, which they will continue to exploit. And, they will continue. So they spend about $70 million a year. So that spend will continue. Clearly, a big part of this upfront will be allocated to their spends. The balance, some of it will get dividend out to Glenmark, and the rest will sit as cash on the books.
Okay. Any plans of rewarding the shareholders of Glenmark who waited very patiently for a possible R&D deal?
We'll definitely consider, right, increasing the payouts to shareholders. I think we'll put it up to the board and get that approval.
Okay. Now, this $1.2 billion in terms of milestone payments, what is it contingent on? Any kind of, milestones that you can share with us, and when can we probably expect them to come through?
I think the milestones are all based on certain meetings, certain events, right? So specific events like completing of a certain phase of clinical development or regulatory filing or regulatory approval. So they spread all over. So it's hard to say when these will fructify.
Okay. Now the royalty payments, if in case the molecule is successful and it comes to market, how long will the royalty payments last for? And typically what you've seen in terms of molecules, and the size of this particular molecule for multiple myeloma, how much do you think it can probably garner for you?
So the multiple myeloma market today is about $30 billion, estimated to be about $50 billion by 2030 globally. So when you look at the market size is very large. In terms of royalty payments, typically some of the novel drugs have a life of at least 15-20 years of exclusivity. So the royalty payments can be significant as and when these drugs come to market.
Okay. Well, you've done this deal at a time where there is a lot of challenge when it comes to funding, especially for biotech companies. How challenging was this particular deal in this environment of uncertainty?
Big Pharma has always had deep pockets, and given the clinical data that we had and the level of efficacy and safety that ISB 2001 demonstrated, we had a lot of interest around this asset, right? And we're happy that AbbVie, we concluded the deal with AbbVie as a final partner.
You're not telling us how many companies actually approached you, the big pharma companies that approached you.
I think all that is history, Ekta. Finally, we have AbbVie as a partner, and we're excited to have them as the final partner.
You're going to have a significant amount of cash on books. We've seen that there are a lot of companies that are looking at acquisitions, and we've seen the Torrent JB Chemicals deal, which has just taken place recently. Will M&A be something that you would consider?
Well, for the next 1 year, we're going to stay focused. I don't think you would see us do anything on the M&A side.
Okay. What about in-licensing?
In-licensing has always been a part of our strategy. For example, we did envafolimab to further leverage our oncology capabilities in India and emerging markets. And we will continue to look for in-licensing opportunities, both in India as well as globally. We recently launched the Beijing 2 assets in oncology in India, zanubrutinib and tislelizumab, right, Brukenza and Tevimbra. So we are constantly looking at in-licensing of assets, both for India and emerging markets in the 3 therapeutic areas which we operate, which is primarily dermatology, respiratory, and oncology.
So weight loss drugs, obesity is not on the cards right now.
Well, I think for us, weight loss and obesity will fall in our diabetes franchise, which is mainly India-specific. But if you look at globally, we operate in derm, respiratory, and oncology. So those are the 3 areas which we continue to look for, both in licensing assets as well as developing further novel assets.
Any other big molecules you think that you have on IGI's books which will probably show the same kind of potential?
Well, IGI, one thing we know is the multi-specific antibody platform that they've developed, right, that we've been developing over the last 10 plus years through the BEAT platform, now actually works, right? So that's a phenomenal achievement. And we think we can leverage this platform to come up with a number of additional assets. The most near-term one is 2301, which will come into the clinics next year. Which again is an NK cell engager, which we're pretty excited about.
Well, this is not only a deal for Glenmark, Glenn, but in context of where India stands when it comes to R&D, we've always been considered to be on the back foot. Do you think that India somewhere is coming of age, considering that we had a small deal with Orchid Pharma, we had something with Wockhardt, and now Glenmark, obviously?
I think a lot of it is company specific, but I mean, my personal view is innovation trumps anything else in our industry, particularly in the pharmaceutical industry, because it's all about helping patients with better therapies, better treatments, which will drive the success of companies wanting to invest in innovation.
But do you think India has come of age, and that's where the next story lies for India, the R&D story? Or is it company specific?
I think it's company specific, Ekta.
Give us, Glenn, end this conversation by telling us what is Glenmark's vision now that you've struck this deal. You do have, your generic business also. You have your India business. You have your consumer business. Give us a sense in terms of what the 5-year, 10-year vision for Glenmark would be here on.
Well, Glenmark will continue to move up the value chain, right, into launching novel products, innovative products as we go forward.
Okay. And quickly, Glenn, you're talking to us at a time where there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to the trade tariffs and what could be announced even for pharmaceuticals. What is your sense in terms of what we should be possibly expecting?
Well, I think it's still playing out, Ekta, so it's hard to say what happens on the tariff side.
Okay. Hypothetically, if there's a, huge tariff of, say, on pharma exports, how do you think Indian companies will probably manage that? There were reports indicating even 200%, which sounds outlandish, but your sense?
I don't want to speculate right now, Ekta. For me, this moment is all about ISB 2001.
Okay. All right, Glenn, thank you very much for joining in, and congratulations on putting India on the map when it comes to R&D. Thanks very much.
Thanks.